He woke at midnight, and the kind old woman was sitting by the fire sharpening a blade. In a temple high in the mountains there lived an old priest and a little boy who swept his floors and carried his water. It was autumn, and the boy had heard that the chestnuts up the mountain were falling thick that year. He begged and begged to be allowed to go and gather them. The priest did not like it. "There is something on that mountain," he said. "An old woman lives up there who is not an old woman at all." But the boy would not stop asking, so at last the priest took 3 paper charms from the altar and pressed them into his hand. "Use these only when you are truly in trouble." So the boy went up, and the forest was gold and red over his head, and the chestnuts lay so thick on the ground that his bag was full before he thought to look at the sky. The sky had gone the color of iron. Mist came up out of the valleys and the path went out from under him, and the boy understood that he was lost. Then he saw a light. A little thatched hut stood in a clearing, and in the doorway an old woman was smiling out at him and telling him to come in before he froze. She fed him hot rice and a bowl of soup and roasted his chestnuts in the ashes for him, and he thought he had never met a kinder person in his life. She spread a straw mat for him by the hearth and he lay down full and warm, and he was asleep before the fire had even burned low. Something woke him in the middle of the night. The fire was almost out. He opened one eye just a little, and looked across the floor at her. She was not small anymore. Her head touched the roof beams, her hair had gone white and wild, and her hands were enormous, and she was sharpening a long blade with slow strokes and humming to herself. The boy did not scream. He sat up, rubbed his eyes as if he had only just woken, and said very politely that he needed to go outside to the privy. The hag looked at him a long moment. Then she tied a rope around his wrist and kept the other end in her fist, and told him to hurry. Out in the dark he untied the rope and knotted it around a post. Then he took the first paper charm, stuck it to the rope, and whispered, "Answer for me." "Are you finished yet?" called the hag. "Not yet," said the boy's own voice from the privy, and the boy was already over the fence and running down the mountain. "Not yet. Not yet. Not yet." At last the hag hauled the rope in, and it came in easily, and on the end of it was nothing but a scrap of paper. Her roar went out over the whole mountain. She came out of that door on all fours and went after him in bounds, and she covered in one stride what he covered in 20. He could hear her breathing behind him. He threw the second charm over his shoulder and shouted for a river, and the ground split open and a great black river came roaring down between them. The hag went down on her hands and knees at the bank and drank. She drank the whole river down, and then she came on again with the water sloshing in her belly. So he threw the last charm and shouted for fire, and a wall of flame went up across the mountainside from side to side, and the heat of it drove her back. But she spat out the river she had swallowed, and the flames went down hissing into black steam, and she came through it after him. The temple gate. He beat on it with both fists, and the priest hauled him inside and pushed him down into the great rice chest and sat on the lid. "Give me the boy," said the hag through the door. The priest opened it and said, "In a moment. They tell me you can change your shape. I have always wondered if that was only a story." She swelled until she filled the room. "Anyone can be big," said the priest, yawning. "It is small that is difficult." So she made herself a bean on the floor, and the priest put the bean in a rice cake and ate it, and the mountain was quiet again. Like, comment, subscribe, and watch the next tale.